Welcome to The Explainer. We're kicking things off today with a pretty huge question. Could a single piece of AI technology completely blow up the entire multi-million-dollar IT consulting industry? Let's dive in.
You know, if you've ever worked in a big company, this question is probably painfully familiar. You need something pretty straightforward like a data migration or a new internal app, and suddenly you're looking at a timeline that eats up half the year. It's this massive, crazy expensive bottleneck that for some reason we've all just kind of accepted as normal. But why?
Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is this number right here, the fact that we're so reliant on outside human consultants. We're talking billable hours that can easily hit $500 an hour, sometimes way more. And that's not just for some high-level brain surgery. That's for the nuts and bolts development and integration work that, honestly, is just begging to be automated.
So this all brings us to what we're calling the 6-month million-dollar problem. It's this vicious cycle of super slow, super expensive projects that has really defined enterprise IT for, well, decades.
For way too long, the go-to move has been to just hire a big consulting firm. But you're not just buying a piece of software. You're paying for a whole army of people to install it, to tweak it, and to make it talk to all your other systems. It's a dependency that locks you in and just drains budgets on stuff that's fundamentally the same work over and over again.
But what if you could just skip that whole mess? A totally new model is starting to pop up, and it's called service as software. And trust me, this isn't just another small upgrade. It's a complete change in how we think about getting things done.
To really get it, you gotta look at how fast things have been moving. Think back to just a few years ago, between 2020 and 2023. That was the autocomplete era. You had tools like GitHub Copilot, which were cool for saving you a few keystrokes. Then, boom, early 2024, Anthropic's Claude shows up and just raises the bar for how AI can actually reason about code. But the real game changer is what's coming. By early 2026, we're entering the agent era, where Claude Code isn't just a helper, it's an agent that can run entire projects by itself.
So this gets us to the core idea. We're moving away from buying a pre-built, one-size-fits-all software box. With services software, the AI is the service. You literally just describe the business outcome you want, and the agent builds you a custom solution right then and there. And this sets the stage for the ultimate showdown. The old-school human consultant versus the brand-new autonomous AI agent. Let's make this real with an example. Take a super common and super expensive project, taking an ancient COBOL system and updating it to modern Python. A traditional firm, they're going to quote you 6 to 9 months and literally millions in billable hours. The Claude Code agent, on the other hand, can do the same core job in 1 or 2 days, all for the cost of an enterprise license. The scale of this shift is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
And hey, this isn't just some theory on a slide. The market is already reacting. When Anthropic first showed off what Claude Code could do with these complex old systems, financial news outlets reported a real dip in the stock prices of the big consulting firms. Suddenly, the threat became very, very real.
To get a sense of its raw power, check this out. Researchers gave Claude Code a seriously complex open-source project to analyze. We're talking over 50,000 lines of code. And it mapped the entire thing, understood the architecture, all the dependencies, the whole shebang, and was ready to start working in just 8 seconds. 8! A senior human developer would need days, maybe even weeks, to do the same thing.
So this power completely changes how developers work. It creates something people are calling an issue-to-PR pipeline. A developer just pastes in a link to a bug report or a feature request from GitHub. The AI then goes off, writes the code, figures out all the dependencies, even includes the tests, and delivers a fully finished pull request. The human's job shifts from writing every line of code to being the strategic reviewer, the final quality check.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This kind of power isn't just for the hardcore developers. It's so easy to use that it's starting to change who can even create things inside a company.
The Wall Street Journal even reported on this, calling it a surprise viral hit. You had people in finance, in marketing, in operations, with zero programming skills, using it to build their own little automation tools and solutions, completely skipping the IT help desk.
This spillover effect was so huge, it actually pushed Anthropic to launch a whole new product. They called it Cowork, and it was a general-purpose agent made specifically for regular business users. It wasn't something they planned. The market literally pulled the technology into a whole new direction.
But of course, you can't just drop something this powerful into a major corporation and hope for the best. It requires a whole new playbook and a really clear understanding of the new rules of the game.
So let's ask the question that's probably on your mind. Is it perfect? Can you just hand over the keys and let this thing run the company? The short answer is no, not yet anyway.
Yeah, being realistic here is absolutely critical. The code it generates is maybe 80 to 90% correct, which is amazing, but it means you still need an expert human to review it. You can get tripped up on really complex configuration files, and you definitely cannot just push its code straight to production without some major safety checks. And maybe most importantly, you need a super secure way for it to access your company's private data.
So, the new playbook for leaders really boils down to 3 things. First, you have to deploy it securely, using special tools that let the AI see your internal data without ever exposing it. Second, you have to redefine jobs. Your best senior engineers, they stop being just coders and become AI overseers, focusing on strategy and review. And third, you have to adopt an automate-first mindset. Use the AI to create the first draft of pretty much every routine tool or integration you need.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The next time you're about to sign off on $1 million, 6-month contract for a standard IT project, you might want to pause and ask yourself, is the best consultant for this job even human anymore?